I guess there was a turning point somewhere. As a child, I liked icing sugar on my popcorn. As an adult, I seem to like salt on my potato chips. They're my individual jams at those separate phases of my life. Goodness knows, I just can't sometimes reconcile how naive I am. How much I know. Is that not mourning the loss of innocence, but alienated by the bulk of knowledge? I'm acutely aware of the science of snacking, being unhealthy, eating too many chips late at night, and knowing the sodium will have an effect on my heart rate, and probably being a person who grew into someone who crossed the line the day you were by yourself in the supermarket, looking at the different sodium levels and the nutritional information in the supermarket of the chips. I remember those days well. And then I think of, you can't help but reflect on the kid you munching down on fun, and then there's this sort of young man you who was somewhere in the middle there. There was a segue, there was a transition, a passing of the guards. Of course, it all happened so gradually. There had to be a day zero for this character. I'm sort of roughly fairly sure I know. I mean, what does it really matter other than I feel a little bit more ridiculous. There's a space to feel ridiculous in a way that I just didn't before. The space wasn't there. I was more naive. I just did things within a circle of knowledge. The circle has expanded. You can't exactly go backwards. You could go back to your original circle, but it's still within a larger circle. Whereas before, it was a large circle. Catching my drift. It's an atmosphere thing. It's space. The space inside me. And then my relationship with the objects. And the routines and the habits and the repercussions and the anxieties. The being aliveness. Oh, there's a through line of me, as people like to sort of purport that it's that boy you were has never left. Yeah, sure, great. That's all friggin' good. Put it on a card, mail it off. We're talking, I'm on the ground here in the trenches, man. Fighting the war. Like, just trying to get through. I don't know. I'm just a man. A bit of a middle-aged man. A bit. Roughly. I'm roughly what a middle-aged man vaguely takes this form. When you're me. Story checks out. I can pick up what I'm putting, I can buy this story. I'm buying it. I believe it. I believe this is happening. Yeah, I do. And there's something in there. In that I don't necessarily think anything else could have panned out. Based on who I am, what I did, where I went. I don't go in for the, if only I'd done this or played this right, or as a, nah, I'm not micromanaging any of that rubbish. If you want to say, if I'd had a completely different life, I'd be in a different position, then yeah, sure, but who's got time for any of that? I guess there was a turning point. It's just this, and look, I don't know, maybe it is is there something ultimately, of all the things that is emasculating about being this vulnerable, or feeling this vulnerable? It's just the inability to confront, consume chips late at night comfortably, but then any physiological complications are only matched with the vengeance with which I insist on doing it anyway. And there's something in that. I think that's, if I had the incredibly abstract, complex sort of equations I'm trying to vocalize and articulate, but if I had to sort of vow, if I had to contemplate, cultivate the poetic DNA of me, it's the what is it that makes the spirit of me unique? And what is the aspect that matters most? That feels the most alive and free and consistent with all the memories of all the other me's. Maybe it's just the fire to refuse to stop having a good time.
Old and leaky gutters are unsightly and unnecessary. But this month, your local Interline tradespeople are offering a free gutter check, so you don't have to mess around climbing up ladders and risking injury. If your gutters are in good condition, we'll tell you, and it won't cost a cent. If part of your gutter needs replacing, you'll get a free quote to replace it with Interline Zincalume coated steel Colorbond guttering. Minimum joins, no maintenance, no rust. Call Interline today for your free gutter check.
There's a kind of laying down I simply cannot do. And sure, you could philosophize that that's to my detriment. But we're just all entering the really upper levels of upper tiers of a very tall, lonely tower of prophesizing and delineating and dissecting and analyzing, but that's perfectly valid and important and as fine to do as anything else right now. It's art, it's poetry, it's spirituality.
It's the Constitution, it's Mabo, it's justice, it's law, it's the vibe, and no, that's it, it's the vibe.
It's being alive, interpreting one's existence. Why not? Do it. Do it. Have a crack. Have a diary. Narrate. Don't flip it and reverse it. Whatever it takes, man, I guess. Well, that's good, but here I am. I've just had so many of these that the sheer bulk of the experience is somehow the crescendo of bewilderment is an incredible apex of awe and this sort of safety in numbers of the amount of days I've lived, that I get through them all, and that there's enough data, there's so much data on me, that the graph is becoming bolder and clearer, and I'm just convinced by the evidence that I'll be okay, even though I'd be lying if I said I wholeheartedly believe that to be true. There's an okay enoughness going on. Rhymes with toughness. I can't really eat chips. I can't eat just about anything properly anymore. What my foot was, because everything changed. I suppose I always had problems. I had huge ones. Like a whole universe of another person in the house who was completely unwell. I don't have that anymore. I just have me being somewhat unwell in different sort of guises and facets, in a way I never predicted. Who could? Who would prepare you for any of that? You wouldn't even get a hint. You wouldn't get a hint that it would play out like this. All you get is the fucking Disney, the the marriage and the family and the kids and the shit. Oh man. It's just like a one way of doing it out of 8 ways of doing it. And the one way gets all the attention. Because there's a program and a model and a norm and an expectation. And that's fine. I'm either floating or I'm on a trampoline or I'm sitting down at a science manual at a science fair. And every me of every age I've been is just putting on a display of what they've figured out and found. And, you know, you wander around, you see things, you have your favourites. In a year's time, what do you remember about that science fair? You don't remember all that much. You have it. You have it in the moment. It's fair enough. The only thing I do the same as when I was a kid is sleep. In sleep I'm the same. I'm the same me, because no one... That space has never been exposed to the world. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
I rest my case.
That was sensational.